Elle Team, not Elle Group.
Elle Group, not Elle Team.
Fuck.
Do you want me to just intro?
Yeah.
He's nervous around me. It's okay.
I know.
That was a
I'm
trick
overwhelmed.
That's often the case.
Well, Lien, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Lien.
On the Word podcast.
My pleasure.
Brendan's going to introduce you.
I was, but I failed.
And
At each attempt.
no, we're excited to have you today. So I think, listen, when we met a year ago in IRL, in real life, at
You got it. You got the
299 Maverick, if you recall.
Yeah.
And other than that, we have been Bigger Pockets friends for a very long time.
What's
Yeah.
Bigger Pockets?
Oh, if you don't
Well,
know, now
you know.
you know.
Well,
Oh.
we're going to let Lien answer that after she introduces herself and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, you can go
Yeah.
now. Yeah. We just fuck up the entire time.
okay.
It's-
Yeah.
And you can,
Okay, cool.
And you can
This
swear.
is so casual.
Yeah,
All right.
it's real cool. We just edit everything out. We say that, and then
Nothing
Nick
gets
never
edited.
edits it.
Yeah.
Nick, you're actually supposed to edit this part out.
Okay.
You can go now.
Lien Vuong, founder of the Elle Group, help investors in the greater Boston area and buy and sell some properties. Bigger Pockets, to answer your question, is a forum online on the World Wide Web.
www.
Okay.
Yeah,
biggerpockets.com.
biggerpockets.com.
Okay. Not HTTPS.
Nope.
Colon.
No,
it
not
might-
necessary today,
Okay.
sir.
I think actually the www is no longer necessary.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not.
Yeah.
But, I just want to speak to his level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To my age bracket.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you talk louder, actually?
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. It's because he's elderly. Can't
Hearing
hear you.
aids.
Yeah.
But it's the forum. You just talk about like investing. There's like a lot of different just chatter. Like you can go like super like local and like talk about Boston market. You can go, obviously national, international. People talk about investing in a lot of different ways, financing, anything you want to chit chat about.
I used to troll BP for us Bigger Pockets users. That's what we call it.
BP.
I used to troll it a lot and answer people's questions and stuff, and then I became busy in my real life and stopped doing it.
I'm
But
still
yeah.
not that busy, so I still answer.
Do you have is there an app too, or do you have to like
I'm
do
sure,
it on the
I'm sure
World
there
Wide
is an
Web?
app, but I'm sure it's terrible. So you should just go
Yeah.
on. It's like a blog. It's like a big blog site.
Yeah, it's not like honestly sophisticated. It's just like the relationship you kind of build on there. It's like, Reddit is like very simple in terms of their like site design. It's kind of like that.
That's reddit.com.
Oh, I'm aware.
Okay.
I'm aware of Reddit.
I was just making sure you knew what that was.
Oh, I know what that one is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good site. It's honestly how I learned a lot about investing early on. And then I feel like maybe once you've listened to some of them or read a lot, it's a lot of the same.
Yeah, there's a lot of redundancy.
Unlike the word podcast. Very informative, but not redundant.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not repetitive at all.
All right.
So,
Sorry, Leon.
No, it's okay.
So the BG, you met Seth on the BG.
BP.
BP.
yeah.
What is BG?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's probably some weird
Yeah.
dating app that Brendan's on or something. I don't know.
Not on any dating apps.
Well, that's
Thank
good.
you.
That's good.
He
Yeah.
prefers
Bigger
to meet
Pockets.
people IRL.
Right. Right. Can we need to stop all of these? This is so corny.
This is married.
Okay.
Yeah, not meeting anybody.
Open?
To
Not meeting. Nope, not open. Not meeting
Okay,
anybody.
closed.
Closed.
Firm closed.
Firm closed.
to another man. Just to
Yes,
be clear.
to
I
yes,
just- I
to
know
a
that-
man as a actively practicing homosexual.
He's also participating in the marriage.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yep.
Voluntarily.
Yep.
Piss
And
off.
he would know what your saddlebag was too.
So talk to us a little bit about maybe how you got started in real estate. I think that'd be a cool story. We always like to ask peeps about their real estate journey. And then I'd love to hear a little bit more about your investing career.
So my career in real estate, like agency, started probably around like 19. So I got licensed and like, I remember sitting in like the classroom, you do the 40 hours and you're like,
Were they teach you nothing?
nothing. It was the Weichert School in Somerville on Broadway.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's been around for a long time. So sitting there and like he's talking about deals and I'm like, quite literally, how am I going to get a client? Like, who is going to trust me to do any of this, right? And I just started kind of brainstorming, like, what do I know, right? And like by that time, my family and I had already owned some investment real estate. So I was like, okay, so I can like speak about this. I obviously know nice houses, but I don't know anything about a house, like the actual
Right.
physical features. So I just kind of went that path, and my personality and kind of like, you know, my thought process really kind of lent itself to servicing clients in that specific niche category. So niche.
No, that's what,
ESL, English as a second language.
no. You're technically right. It's an.
It could go either way. We've had many a debate over niche versus niche.
I don't.
You guys need a hobby. If
Yeah,
you
this is it. You're looking
this
at
is
it.
our hobby.
We actually debate niche versus niche during the podcast.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and we actively look it up.
And recently we learned you can actually say it either way. It's completely fine.
It's like tomato
either
and tomato.
or either.
Oh,
Both.
jeez.
Both.
Both.
I say either.
It depends on the context. Like aunt.
No, there's only one
No,
right
that's
answer to
Yeah,
that one.
It's aunt.
It's
All right.
aunt.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can say either way. But no matter which way you say it, I'm always going to correct people for the rest of time because then they freak out and they think they said it wrong, but they were right.
Okay. You like the mind fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
what
That's a
I'm
power
about.
thing.
It probably is. Yeah.
So
Brendan's reflecting on
My life.
all of our transactions together.
Every moment.
So started with Cameron Real Estate. I was there for about 2 years. I like really learned so much there because everybody knows like Tom
That's
Caparella.
a W, right?
Yeah. One of the W's.
Yeah.
One of the W's.
One of the W's, yeah. It's on that W is on the come up.
Oh, okay.
Wakefield.
Oh,
I think it's up.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that.
I was
it's
actually in
certainly
Wakefield
middle class.
last night. I think it was the first time I'd really ever been in
Did
Wakefield.
you go to dinner?
I went to a restaurant. I didn't eat, but I was in a restaurant in Wakefield.
That was a great story. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for
Well,
sharing.
I just thought I'd never been to Wakefield before.
Well,
And
at least
it's
you went there to
almost
not eat.
Lynn adjacent.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. So Tom Cafarella was a great broker. He like taught me so much because like there was just like obviously certain gaps in my knowledge of investing, and he shared a lot of information with me, mentored me. And then now I'm with to repay him, I left.
How does that go? Like, I appreciate you so much. Adios.
It's not me, it's you.
Oh.
No.
No, it really is.
At a certain time, you do feel like you outgrow certain relationships, and
Become
like,
too comfortable.
yeah, like frankly, I was like number one agent pretty quickly, like in 18 months. And like, I didn't really want that, right? Like you want to be kind of like, you know, like looking for more, looking up. And so that's why I just wanted a shift into like a larger brand, which is Berkshire Hathaway, and hang out with Uncle Warren Buffett.
How did you pick that brokerage out of all of the brokerages that are out there?
So I interviewed with Leading Edge, Compass, Berkshire. I think I like, obviously KW is always an option, but I got the gist of KW. I landed with Berkshire mostly because my relationship with one of the owners, one of the founders who I consider a close friend and like definitely a mentor. So I felt like I was going to be able to like really strengthen that relationship. He was an investor, and like, you know, for an owner of like 30 plus offices and like, you know, all those things, I can almost always call him, and that access was really important to me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So now I've been with Berkshire for like 2+ years. I have my team. And
The
it's
Elle
been
Group.
The Elle Group.
The Elle Group.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
It's funny because men always pronounce it the Elle Group and women pronounce it Elle Group because they know Elle magazine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be spelled out. I thought it was just the letter.
No, ELLE.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And where'd you come up with that?
Yeah. So I started that name because the first two members were myself and my team member Lee Diver. So we like had Elle. And then I really wanted to be able to have a team that like, I didn't know how necessarily to execute it, but to be able to like attract female investors if I could. And Elle was like, obviously like it was female, it was women,
Smart.
it was French, but he didn't alienate like literally my entire clientele, which is all men.
Yeah.
Right. I did it, I think, in a softer way. And so Elle Group was like very natural.
I love that.
It's smart that you thought about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's the nicest thing I've ever said to you.
Thanks. Yeah. I hope there's more.
It may be. It's only an hour podcast. So
Yeah, we'll
it's
see how
it's gonna
that
be tough to
goes.
get that out of me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so talk to us a little bit about. So you got into 2019, saw some pretty quick success, great market. Market shifted a lot, right?
Right.
So talk to us maybe a little bit about experiencing a shifting market right now. I mean, the market's just so much different than it was even 6 months ago, 9 months ago, a year ago, right? And I think specifically when you think about investments, deals pencil out much differently now, right? With different rates. And so just talk to us a little bit about that. Kind of what's been your perception of a shifting market and maybe how that relates specifically to investments?
Yeah, I think like definitely deals are super hard to pencil now just because rates are double, like literally just cost of money changed. Even for myself when I underwrite, I'm like, God, it's brutal, man. This better freaking appreciate because that's all we got right now. And you know, we used to like, you know, have the talk track of like increase like rental rates. Oh no, rents are going to go up, but it's more or less stabilized now too. So like, you know, whatever you had that before is gone, has dissipated. From my experience of the market, I definitely saw a drop off in buyer. I represent quite a bit of buyers. Probably 6 to 8 months ago, like there was definitely a drop off. People, you know, who were able to afford X and, you know, now is Y. So they're like, well, I don't want to buy Y. Okay. Then they rent and they make a different decision. And then people who are really kind of 50-50 anyways, they found that to be a reason to leave. Totally fine.
Yep. Flush it out.
Yeah. So there was some flushing out. And then, but what I've noticed, like certainly in past few weeks is like, while there's a smaller amount of buyers, there's so few inventory. Yeah. That like, you know, people still have to buy. Like that's just what it is. The decisions need to be made for their homes. So transactions are still happening. I was at, I placed 3 bids this weekend, all multiple offers. You know, I ranked top 5 in one of them and I was at 8% over asking.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
You know, so that kind of activity is still there.
On a multi?
On a multi.
And where was that?
That was in Worcester.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lower price point.
Yeah, lower price
point. So this is one of the
what's lower now? Like
800?
Still like
600. Yeah, Worcester's super
Okay.
expensive now in comparison to what it was a couple years ago.
But what would that same multi in Winthrop be?
$1 million.
Oh yeah,
right.
million. Easy.
Right. So like if you got a $600,000 budget and you want a 3 family, like you're not going to Winthrop, you're going to Worcester.
No. You can't.
The thing is, they were okay maybe staying in Boston. That was their goal, but they can't now.
Right.
So they have to migrate, and that's
about
part
Lien?
of the drop off too.
Lien's too expensive already.
Lien's big tickets.
Yeah.
Lien has like Everett, Chelsea prices, which is Boston, but doesn't have the rents. Like it's, you know, like I said, I've tried to push people.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
I don't see it being supported. You know,
I think everyone's trying.
Getting there.
I think if you're like an out-of-state investor or new to the area, and you look at the train, the water, and you track the proximity to the city, and then you look at maybe, I don't know how big of a city it is. Like it can be attractive,
right?
But I think, like I've shared this before, like the first 3-decker I bought was in downtown Lynn for $360,000.
Right.
You know, and the rents have not. That was 7 or 8 years ago, whatever it was. The rents have gone up.
Right.
They haven't gone up enough to warrant a double or 2.5x list price on that property. That same property, which I sold kind of foolishly, but I bought a 3-family in Winthrop with it, had, I think it's resold 4 or 5 times, most recently in the 700s.
Oh my God, you've watched your same house resold
3 or 4 times.
That's a weird, like I don't sell a lot of my assets, but that must be kind of a weird feeling.
Yeah, it was. I was really pissed at first when it sold for like a lot. Like it sold for like 6. I was like, you know, I screwed this up. But at the end of the day, because I traded into a different 3-family that was better for me, you know, better quality asset, better quality tenant. It all worked out at the end of the day.
So remind me, like you bought it for in the 3s, and then how much did you sell it for?
So I only held it for like legit 14 months.
Okay, quick.
So it was like I wasn't an agent when I bought it.
Okay.
So I was just like, I read a book on investing. I was like, whatever, this one pencils out. I underwrote it like with BP's calculator. You know what I mean? Figured out no spreadsheets. Like
that's the website.
That's the that's the internet. Yeah.
And did you actually have a pencil?
I used an Excel calculator.
Oh, okay.
But I paid $360 for it. I actually bought it with a friend, and you know, low money down. Used FHA. Was going to owner occupy it. Hated the area. Never owner occupied it.
Right.
Leased it up, and I think we sold it for like $425.
Okay, so this is profit.
Like 14 months later.
Right.
We went through like every possible crazy tenant story that you can think of. Like it was like boot camp for investing.
Right.
And a lot of that, quite frankly, was inexperience, right? Bad vetting,
Mm-hmm.
desperate for the money to just fill it, the unit, and put cash back in my
100%.
pocket. You know, like the amount, every time I've done that, it burns you. You know what I mean? And
100%.
you just can't do that shit anymore. So, but yeah, we put them in there, and like they couldn't afford the oil, so they kept running it low. We'd have to call
Space
for oil.
heaters.
Yeah, the oven open, all this type
Yeah.
of stuff. It was wild, man. I'm not going to get too much into it, but it was wild. And so I had got my license in the meantime, and I was just tracking the market. I was like, I think we could sell this thing for like $4.25,
Right.
you know, and kind of just like, hey, you take your proceeds, go buy what you want. I'm going to go buy my own 3-family. Like I'm not as green as I used to be. And so I sold that for, I think it was like $420 or something like that, $425, and I bought a 3-family in Winthrop for $540
The one that's under contract.
right now.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, she's good.
Selling it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No lazy assets.
No.
So that's like, I the large amount of like assets I've owned, I purchased in the last 5 years. And so I haven't had too many like liquidation events. My mom actually, like, so that's how I'm like really involved in real estate investing. She sells like probably every 18 months, 24 months. She sells pretty quickly. And so
Who does she use for a realtor?
she has a lot of different markets.
Oh,
So
she doesn't
not,
use you?
no.
No.
Because like she'll own in like Chicopee. Sometimes she'll go to Fall River. I
I ain't
Yeah.
going there.
this is a little bit of a wild story.
We
She
love a
got-
wild story.
She got radicalized by YouTube.
Oh.
No, quite seriously. Like,
Yeah.
like, so my mom's been an entrepreneur like her whole life. Like, we're from Vietnam. And like, she's had to like reinvent herself so many different ways. So when she came here, we were in the nail salon business. And when we started like just literally making money and finally having a little bit of a nest egg, she was just like on YouTube, like looking
What
for
do I
like, how do you invest? Like, and then we went on a whole run of trying to invest in hotels. We like learned what a
Interesting.
cap rate was.
Yeah.
And like, I was probably like 17 to 20 at that timeline.
Work at the front desk.
Oh, 100. I was
What
a-
hotels? Like by the
Oh, no,
hour?
no, we
by
never
the
ended up
At the nail salon.
at the nail salon. We never purchased a hotel. But
Oh,
like
but
we
you
had,
you went down the rabbit hole thinking you would.
yeah, because
Okay.
it was an asset class. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't understand it, but
Yeah.
we're like, okay, so there's that.
Probably good you didn't do that.
I don't know. The thing is, it's you never know your future.
Nope.
True.
And we never know what the market's gonna do.
Right. I mean,
It's
is
predictable,
Airbnb that
but-
different than
Is it?
hotel? It's a smaller hotel. quote,
Yeah.
So
We're gonna talk about that too. Don't worry about it.
so then she stumbled on like Grant Cardone. This was Grant Cardone was on the come up because this was like round 11, like 2011. So he's not the person he is today. And then she learned a bunch of stuff, and then she's like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
That is
Yeah.
true. So Chicopee,
Mm-hmm.
Fall River, mom's portfolio
Yep.
With the nail salon money.
with the nail salon money.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
how I got started in real estate investing. That's like kind of how like I have.
We were
the
talking
knowledge.
about something really good before that.
we were
too.
talking
Yeah.
about moms
then-
investing.
All right, but why were we talking about moms investing?
Um,
This is what happened. We ended up at
Hotels,
we
cap
ended up- we
rates.
ended
yeah,
up
yeah, but
at-
that's how we learned about investing.
We ended up talking about
Through
Chick-fil-A.
Grant Cardone and YouTube.
Yeah,
Right.
we got
Yeah.
radicalized. Like, how did I learn about investing?
Yeah.
That was the answer. Yeah, and
We got this from Pleasant Street from selling pieces
Yeah.
of property because mom doesn't sell.
She
property.
holds things
Mom
for
does sell
14
property.
months.
Right.
say
isn't
that
it-
again.
This is This is the podcast.
We're
rabbit hole.
we're unwinding how we got
We were
here.
talking about Lynn.
Yeah.
We were talking about my property,
Yeah.
Pleasant Street. You said under agreement. You started talking about mom, how mom flips, you hold.
Yeah, I hold.
And
So-
then we were on Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So I just brought us
now no, that's good.
Thank you.
Someone's paying attention.
I'm trying.
So no
We'll let 'em this
lazy
time.
assets. So like for the first time, like I'm really evaluating what like 23 looks like.
Yeah.
Because I have a very specific goal. By the time I'm 35, I want $2 million of gross rental income.
Okay.
I'm putting it out there for the
That's-
universe.
Yeah.
That's
Yo,
crazy,
that's
man.
that's not a small check.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got to get there.
How many years away is that? We don't.
She's not gonna
Ready?
say.
Ready? 3
Yeah.
years.
3 years?
3 years.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Well, if you were doing,
How many X is that from today?
if you were doing the math, 2011, what you were 17. So I was paying attention.
Yeah. No, 11. I was 21 because I was born in 90. So it's easy to figure out my age.
Yes, it is.
So
I still thought she got involved in real estate at 19, not 2019.
No,
I picked up on
Yeah.
that later, but yeah. it's all
See,
good.
I thought it was the year 2019.
Oh, see,
It
I
was
thought
the
she
year
was
2019.
19.
it's because you're younger, Seth, and your
Yeah, I
brain
was
is
vibing with you.
nimble.
Yeah.
Quick.
Thank
It's
you.
these old guys.
Yeah, not this like this atrophy-ridden guy. That's,
Exactly.
I'm co-hosting this disastrous podcast with.
Yeah, his back hurts right now.
Oh,
Well,
dude.
I mean, these are possibly the most uncomfortable chairs I've ever
my
sat in.
chair is great.
Yeah, don't you like how that is?
Yeah.
He
My
gets a good
office,
chair,
man.
and we sit on these shitty things.
My
Yeah,
office,
yeah.
man. You're
We're
welcome
plebs
to.
here.
You're welcome to stripe a couple checks for some air on.
Yeah, I'm gonna just order them and have them
for my
delivered.
office.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
only
Makes
for in
sense.
here.
Yeah.
So no lazy assets. You're thinking about trading up.
Yeah, trading up because of my goal. And like I understand, like that's a very, that's a
That's
lofty
dope.
goal.
That's a cool goal.
Yeah.
But like honestly, my goal originally was 1 million, and quite frankly, I knew I was gonna hit it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So let's go 2 million.
Yeah.
Why don't you 10x it?
Because it's like ridiculous.
Is
Is
it
it?
though? Because
Is it?
what worst case scenario, you end up what at 4 mil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit's on sale.
Yeah, not really.
not really.
Well, maybe.
Okay. So at any rate, so like, knowing, beginning with the end in mind, knowing that like I want to be at 2 million by the time I'm 35, I'm just trying to understand like what my portfolio looks like, what are lazy assets that I can trade up and like buy a larger building.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. Keep going.
So how are you evaluating that with a spreadsheet?
Oh, big spreadsheet, girl.
Big, yeah.
And my spreadsheet says road to 2 million. You like
Oh,
that?
I love it. Is
You
that
like
the
that?
file name?
100%. It's
Yeah.
on my drive.
I love it.
Yep. So road to 2
Do you have
million.
it in like pink and like
Do
flashing?
I look like I have it in pink?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, it's in black,
Black.
like my soul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like my Dior saddlebag.
I love
okay?
it.
No, but so like
Carbon black or like shiny black?
Matt.
matte.
Matte black.
Yeah,
I love
understated.
it. Yeah.
So evaluating that right now, I just purchased a 6-family in Webster in November, and like I just like saw like how well it did just because of scale. Like you have 6 units, it's like really nice and easy, and so I mean I was able to like increase. It's gonna take another 30 days, but like pretty much by the end of 30 days, I'll increase the rents 20%, which is major. And what I'm able to do with all these assets is because they're commercial property, I'm able to do cash out refi because they're DSCR loans, right?
Yeah.
Like debt service coverage ratio. I just do.
You just keep bumping up the
I
rents.
just keep bumping.
Yeah.
I understand what to
shit.
do.
We don't do any bumps until after.
Okay, we're back. We're
So
back.
they're DSCR loans. I keep bumping up the rents, and I just know that like the bank really is underwriting that, right? So increase the rents, decrease expenses. That property, for example, had 6 sub-metered water
That's awesome.
meters that I can charge back to the tenant that the previous owner did not take advantage of. So
really?
yeah. So I'm gonna do that.
What's the roof look like?
Everything's brand new and got renovated 3 years ago.
Nice.
So-
Can you put solar on it?
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm so
Oh my
glad-
God,
I'm so-
Vivint
No,
guy
No,
over here.
no.
I've.
I'm scared for my life.
It's funny. I was gonna go to solar,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh, we have solar coming up soon, so
Yeah.
I was gonna save it.
Oh.
But we'll go into it a little bit. Can you break down? Do you mind breaking down that
Yeah.
deal for us?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
So $840 is the purchase price. So 25% down. Rate was 5.75.
It's a pretty good rate
Yeah.
Yep.
for a commercial loan.
Yeah, workers credit, no prepay penalty.
Oh,
really?
that's the second time I've heard of workers credit.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I think it's around 200K of down payment, plus or minus.
Yeah.
I got 185 of that from a cash out refi of another property. So this one is free, honey.
We love free honey.
Free.
I do love me a free piece of property.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on.
How could you
So-
say no? And the other tenants are paying for it.
That's right.
It's just, the math works every day.
Yeah.
So, I closed on that. At time of closing, my rent was roughly, $8,300 plus or minus. Obviously paying for water. I
It's
hired.
a great rent roll.
It's still a very strong rent roll. Like I knew it penciled.
Yep. Almost 1% rule.
Yeah.
Might as well be.
Well, no, it is
It's
1%
more than
because
1%.
that's monthly, and 1%
Yeah.
rule is on annual.
Yeah.
because that's 96
I always do it on
monthly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's way harder.
But
But it's way better.
So for instance, 8,300 at an 840 purchase price. Like I just know it works.
Yeah, like quick math, you know it works.
And have you bumped the rents up?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm always doing the bumps.
Yeah.
So $9,600, they gotta pay for the water.
Yeah.
Not my freaking problem, honey. So management's already in place.
Yeah.
Number one rule: hire management. Do not manage it yourself.
Really?
So do you go to local managers or do you have like one management company that does all your properties?
I'm a little monogamous.
Yeah.
So
that's a good thing.
It's a good and a bad thing. I'm too loyal.
Yeah.
No, but like my man Dan.
Yeah.
He owns Infante Property Management, so shout out to him, Union Street in Framingham. He manages all my properties, all my long terms.
Yeah.
And
But I thought you only did long term.
No, I do short term too. That's a little teaser for later.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. So even on properties that he would not normally manage, but because we obviously have a relationship, he's willing to do that for me.
Like Webster.
Like Webster,
Which isn't one of the W's you were talking about earlier.
No.
Dude, it's in Framingham. It's not that far.
No, and like he knows the products I give him, which are like great assets to have, and like I screen it, but pretty much I don't even do final walkthrough. Like I called Dan once. I'm like got the loan commitment. Hey, like we're good to go, and I just give him the keys. He does everything.
Does he do the renters too?
Yeah, he'll lease it up.
Yeah.
And like. For me, like if I had to do it, if I had to do the rent increases, like I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. But I have no problem getting on a Zoom with Dan once a month. I mean, like, did you do that?
Yeah. That's smart call.
Love that.
So can you just walk us through how many units do you own now?
I am at 24.
Nice.
That's very good.
And does that include or not include short term?
Inclusive of short term.
And so you have always delegated management?
My first 3 family, I guess like my very, very first was like in 2015 and I did not, hire then. I then got then I sold that very quickly. It was like kind of your Lien property. You just kind of had your first one you learned. And then my first real one is what I consider. In 19, I tried to self-manage for 2 months, thinking I'm a different person now. I can self-manage. I wouldn't even drive there to collect the rent. Like the checks were sitting in the box. And I was like, like you couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
And so month 3, I hired Dan and we called that a day.
Did you know him before?
No, I, excuse me. I just Googled him and like, you kind of do a little bit of vetting. And it was a great match. He's a professional management company and not just like kind of like a run by night kind of thing. He has staff. And I really enjoyed like our trust and level of communication.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he's empowered me, frankly. And this is my last spiel about Dan, but to be able to buy more property.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because the second I buy it, like I call Dan and like I don't worry. Like I think even if you're willing to admit it or not, by self-managing, you stop yourself because you're like, well, there's no way I can do another 3 units. I don't have time.
Yeah.
But Dan has a lot of time.
Yeah.
Or he'll find the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we need to get Dan on.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with any property manager. I've just never found a good one. I got to be honest with you. So there was no time where my portfolio ran worse than when it was with a property manager. And so unfortunately I took it back. But I agree with everything you just said. There's deferred maintenance that I don't undertake. There's rent rolls. You get these relationships with tenants and like, oh, they were a great tenant. They've been easy. They never really ping me. So you hook them up. The reality is, everyone should get their money right at the end of the day. Rents. And we talked a lot about like rent control. You could end up, if rent control becomes a thing, in a significantly worse and devalued portfolio position unless you just do what's right and raise the rent to market. You know what I mean? So that's cool. So let's pivot.
How do you feel about rent control?
I don't think that is servicing the community.
Why?
I think that's our opinion as well. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Because I think like with anything, even like, okay, for example, of like in New York when they did like landlords couldn't landlord had to absorb the cost of the broker fee, right? Ultimately, any sort of like quote taxes on that, those fees always gets transferred to the consumer no matter what.
Sure.
And it makes it more expensive.
It's more expensive.
Right.
Like, I remember dining in San Francisco, like, there are these kind of laws in terms of how like you're supposed to treat like staff and like employees. So there were like basically health benefits, et cetera, you're supposed to buy. And then suddenly all my checks were 3 to 5%, surcharge. Who do you think paid for that?
Yeah.
The
Who
same
did?
voters that
Yeah.
thought that they needed to give that to the community.
Yeah.
That drives me insane when I'm at a restaurant and they're like, we have this back of the house service fee. It's not my problem to pay your employees. Just raise the price.
Right.
Like if you're a bad employer and you don't have enough money in your budget to pay your employees, don't add 3% on the bill plus the alcohol to pay your employees.
Oh my God. Margin
Pay
on
them
that
a
sounds so
living
crazy.
wage.
Right.
Right.
And
I feel the same about rent control. I'm not
It's
a
not
fan.
going to solve. It's not going to solve
Not
the
a
problem.
fan.
No, it's not. Yeah. But, because I have that Excel, because I have property management, and obviously I do short term that has its own management. Like someone has ownership of that. So I just look at my Excel. I look at like, as is, because I have an as is column and pro forma, which, because rental dates change all the time. Like I want to see the projections, and he's going to be able to see that through.
That's dope. Let me ask you a question. So you said, what was it, no lazy assets? Tell us what that means.
No lazy assets. I got to give Brandon Turner credit for that because, it's just swiping through. And it's basically underperforming assets. Like I have 2 to 3 buildings that I have a lot of equity in. I bought it right, great rate. You're like just so obsessed with these rates. But like, I have a
Stagnant cash.
Yeah, like it would take me forever to be able to get that cash flow. And so I know that like one of my buildings I bought for like mid 5s. I know tomorrow I could sell it for mid 7s, right? So that's like $200K that's sitting there. It would take me a million years to be able to like get $200K of cash flow. So like my idea is to be able to like, take that out and move it into a commercial building, gives me a purchasing power of roughly $1 million. Then I could do that Webster thing, increase all the rents, and then like rinse and repeat,
Take your cash right back out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So where are you looking for that?
In terms of my identifying the next one, unfortunately, purchase price in Boston is so high. So like for a commercial, which I'm like very fixated on, it's going to land me in like the, secondary, tertiary markets. So I don't frankly want to go to New Hampshire. I just didn't have a positive
interesting
landlording experience there.
Yeah. Did you own multis in New Hampshire?
Yeah, we owned like 5 buildings in Manchester.
Okay. Tell me more.
That was like in anywhere from like year 2012 to like 15, something like that.
Tough community.
Yeah, it was a tougher community. We were new landlords, so we bought in, and you're not supposed to really, quote red line, but this is my experience, right? Like we bought in the tree streets, like Spruce.
Yeah, you got to stay out of the tree streets. I told you that.
You did tell me that.
Yeah, like
Our
little
Aborn or whatever, Maple.
Yeah, like tree streets, like you're not supposed to touch, but like
Elm.
we bought that exactly. And so we had a tougher time, and it just leaves you with like a bad taste in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't positive.
So Manchester's out.
Well, you know what it is? It's like if you're going to purchase an expensive asset like that, I think that's a great example of something you really have to be arm's length through a property manager, because the reality is that's why I got out of land and into Winthrop. The even though there's such close communities, the quality of tenant in Winthrop, they want granite countertops, nice kitchens. They're commuting to the city. Nothing against Lynn. I grew up there, but at the end of the day, it's just a different tenant class.
Right.
And when you're looking in Manchester, it's worse than that, unfortunately. And it's all just driven on cost of living. Yeah. And those apartments have lower rents, and you just deal with different stuff clientele that, quite frankly, like we don't like to deal with. And it's a different clientele. You're dealing with, I hate to be so stereotypical, but like you're dealing with.
These are just our experiences.
Yeah. Like, it's just.
So you're looking in like a Fitchburg? I've heard a lot of people talking about Fitchburg lately.
Fitchburg, tenant class is also, nothing
like Manchester
to write home about.
Yeah.
They're definitely like gig workers. There's definitely, so Webster, 5 out of 6 units are actually Section 8. My thought on like, if you're going to kind of go on a lower tenant class is get paid.
Yeah.
You know what? If I'm going to have to deal with bullshit, if Dan has to deal with bullshit, then like let's get him paid and get him paid top dollar.
Yeah.
You know, so like, you know, there's that kind of like marriage, if you will.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
Yep.
So lazy asset. Quick story. I don't think I actually went into this with you, Brendan, but obviously we're selling a piece of property right now personally.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought the first property. It was only $360,000, and I bought it with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I think I put out of pocket like $7,000.
Yeah, that was a lot of money back then.
Dude, it was back in the day, right? So, I actually think I took a loan out of my 401k because I didn't have any money.
Yeah, I mean that can't even get you Chanel.
So I
Not the ones his wife wants.
partnered, right? We bought that, sold it. I think I walked with like 30.
Mm-hmm. You were rich.
Dude, I was killing it.
You were rich.
Did you go to Encore?
No, I went right into Pleasant
Royale.
Street. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it into Pleasant Street. We owner-occuped there. We lived for free and made money. The other 2 units, right? 3%.
That's called hacking.
House hacking. That's correct. Yeah.
I learned that. I
Hashtag.
learned that here.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, we got married. I pulled a HELOC on the house, paid for the wedding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, a year later, was saving a ton of money, was able to buy another 3-family because we had no living expenses.
Right.
And I got that deal seller financed,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which was hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Cash out refied, took out some money, ended up buying our single family primary residence. 2 years ago, when we cash out refied again,
Mm-hmm.
okay, pulled out some more money. I have no idea what I did with that, but I did something with it that was productive.
Mm-hmm.
And
Let's hope.
right,
Yeah.
so
Time will tell.
took essentially $7,000, put it in that property, paid for an expensive wedding, cash out refied it twice, probably pulled out over $100,000 in both cash out refis total.
Right.
Over the life of that property, as I've owned it, it's created in the last 7 or 8 years over $200,000 in free cash flow,
Right.
right, above and beyond the mortgage. And I'll still walk with a significant amount of money from the sale.
Right.
I've pulled almost like $900,000 or $1 million out of that property. Oh, by the way, it's my laziest asset. It's my most weathered.
Right.
It's capped out in terms of upside.
Yeah, like
You know,
absolutely
like
for you.
it's just time to put it into something else. You know what I mean?
So you're gonna 1031?
No, I'm an idiot. I probably will, to be honest with you. We're working on a deal that is
Oh,
the
okay.
longest-
Yeah.
the
All
longest
right.
deal
I like
of all
this.
time.
I like this.
yeah. So
All right.
we'll see what happens, but
Okay, but your goal is to 1031.
it is one of the primary goals. It might not happen, to be honest with you. I might just take the cash.
Okay. I do cost segregations on all my properties.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us more about those cost segregations.
I'm like, you know, what is Lien like very passionate about? Relationships, cash flow,
Saving on taxes.
and reducing her tax liability.
so
Pretty
who,
much.
so who
that's
does
my
that
thing.
for you?
So Yona Weiss, WEISS. And then I've also have used my CPA, which like, you know, I'm sure that it's some sort of referral and they fold that into.
Yeah.
So I do a cost segregation study on all my assets. I do at least like 2 a year. I mean, I buy 2 to 4 properties a year. You know, I just kind of figure out which one's going to be the best. And that reduces my tax liability because I'm a real estate professional.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, and this is like very kind of high level explanation, but it's basically a bonus depreciation on your asset.
Accelerated.
Accelerated.
Yeah.
Yep. So, you know, and as a real estate professional, okay, so let's go super basic.
Yeah.
You know, tomorrow, if you bought a house, it's residential home, you can depreciate the asset, not the land, 27 and a half years. You just divide it.
Yeah.
Right. When you do a cost segregation study, they itemize everything in the home. So then you're able to further depreciate the asset. And the rule of thumb is basically 20 to 30% of your purchase price. $1 million is, you know, roughly 200 to 300K, whatever. What's like for me, like the very special aspect of that is because I'm a reps real estate professional. I get to really deduct that from my taxes instead of, you know, just a W-2 person that's investing it. That stays in their Schedule E, which gets carried year after year, which is still good, but is not as good as mine.
Right.
I'm better.
Obviously.
Yeah, we're certainly not going to get into Seth's tax life right now, but I think I might be better suited actually taking it right now, believe it or not, which is a very long off the podcast story.
Yeah.
But I've just personally I purchased I personally over leveraged myself last year, transparently. Bought way too much commercial property.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, and like I just don't like two things: my personal cash position, transparently. Trying to run a business,
Right.
the cash means more to me in my company,
Right.
than it does 1031ing.
Yeah.
That being said, we do have a property lined up. We're trying.
course he does.
We're trying to get a purchase and sale signed
You will.
for
3 months.
60 days.
Yeah, maybe longer. It might be longer.
And
But I think we first talked about this property a year and a half ago.
you're correct.
Yeah.
You've been flirting for that long?
No, it's a really
Yeah,
long
you
story,
don't. Yeah, you
but,
don't have to go. But like sometimes deals take forever.
this is not a Seth problem. So we're trying to get that wrapped up. And so whether or not we do or not will determine whether or not a portion of that will go, and I'll probably take the rest direct.
Right.
So tell me more about the
I want to talk cost seg.
Yeah, the cost seg.
Sure.
So what do you just hire like an accounting firm to come in and
Weiss.
and
Yeah, no, it has to be a cost segregation firm.
They do a study.
yeah.
Yeah, it's technically a study, and they have to be engineers.
What the fuck are they studying? Like
They
your
go to
stove?
they go to the property.
Yeah, and what, like inventory it,
Yes.
Literally.
and then price each piece of inventory.
Exactly.
And they
Got it.
depreciate it at a faster rate.
Yeah, I get that part. So I just wanted to know like what nerd showing up, like looking at all your stoves.
It's definitely a nerd.
Yeah.
They're definitely wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wear glasses.
Yeah.
Well,
Are you not a nerd?
I mean, I don't think I am, but maybe other people do.
Len, do you wear glasses?
I have perfect vision.
Like everything
Thanks
else
for
about
asking.
you,
Yeah.
just perfect.
I have
Perfection.
better
Yeah.
than 2025.
Yeah.
Better than 2020 vision
Yeah.
with my contacts.
Lol.
So
But yeah,
also
somebody also like will show up and do that, and as of late, a lot of people will do Matterport.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're able to kind of scan everything because you're able to like walk and like kind of really take a look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you mind sharing what that would cost for a property? I think you just dropped some formula, but I missed it.
What the formula I dropped was like the percentage of savings.
Yeah.
The cost is anywhere from like $3,000 to $5,000. Transparently, none of my assets are really above $1 million, and so I try to do the 500 to $1 million, and so it's not a very reasonable rate.
Yeah.
Because you're saving, like me
Saving a lot of
personally,
money.
Yeah,
you're
if
saving
you-
so much money. It's
Well,
a
it's a value.
no-brainer.
It's a value play, right?
On-
Like it's not the
on
cost.
on something like the Webster
Webster.
six unit.
Mm-hmm.
Directionally, what would that yield you hypothetically in a cost seg tax savings?
I think we landed on like, don't quote me,
27%?
around 240K was like what I saved, and then I was able to take like a large chunk of it in year one.
Wow,
So that's a fatty.
dude, I
that
need
is
to
a
I need to
fatty.
be doing cost seg.
I'm like
Yeah, you do.
I'm obsessed with it. It's not how much you make, it's how much you save.
Yo, will you make an intro to me?
Absolutely.
Weiss.
It would be my pleasure.
I'll pay you big if I need to.
Yep.
I
Dude,
like-
that's crazy.
yeah.
I bought so I've recently been buying commercial property in really
Which depreciates 39 years.
interesting, which I have been taking. I don't know if I should say all this publicly. I've been kind of like sourcing deals usually on the MLS,
Okay.
stagnant listings
Yep.
or stuff that.
No,
I
you can
found
say all
Webster.
this.
I can.
Yeah.
You just thought it through it.
I think I know where you're headed, and I don't think anything's bad.
So essentially, what I've been trying to work on is, for lack of a better word, take advantage
Finding good deals. I think that
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
finding good deals.
of stuff that's mismarketed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's finding a good deal.
Really,
Doing your job.
unleased. The revenue. The revenue sucks.
Bumping, you're like Leanne.
Bumps.
You're bumping
I'm
them.
buying on paper like a toxic asset,
Right.
like we're sitting in right now.
Right.
And
So toxic.
Did you do a 21E?
yeah,
Okay.
clean
Okay. We straight then.
for real.
Yeah.
For real.
No, I would toxic and financially toxic. I think is what he was.
I know.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
So we
Sorry.
buy something that's completely unleased, misrepresented in potential what market rents can be,
Right.
unaware, more like a lot of the times residential brokers
Right.
masquerading as commercial brokers.
Right. 100%.
And I just come in with the math and get a good deal.
Yeah.
And I go, right, I release it, I clean it up, and cash out refi.
That's called smart.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
not too different than what I do. I
Yeah.
don't do it on commercial spaces, but the asset is
can.
commercial.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not like what I'm into.
Yeah.
Like residential, for me, the way that I think about it, there's just more consumers. So like my
I
like
agree.
absorption rate is just so much faster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's dope.
Let's talk about your short-term stuff.
Okay. The shotties.
The shotties.
Shotties.
Let's
How
talk
many you
about your
got?
shotties.
We have 5 and we're launching a 6th.
And where are they?
Snap.
Oh snap. So the brand is Stay at Our House, HAUS House.
Oh, very Austrian. Are they
Yeah.
ski places?
No,
Oh,
we just
That would be better.
Some
some
are.
of them
Oh,
are.
really? Where?
So 3 are in the Berkshires. I mean, they're not
People
like
ski
fancy.
in the Berkshires?
Berkshire
Cross
East,
country.
honey.
Are you out of your mind?
I mean, I
Do you know
literally
how to
don't
ski?
do any winter sports.
Yeah.
I'm bred in the jungle. I like warm.
Oh.
Yeah, but white people or
White
other
people,
people,
white people love
yeah,
skiing.
they like to do that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, similar to their skin color.
Yeah.
So
And their hearts
exactly.
cold.
No.
Black.
So I have like a Moosehead Lake. That's like kind of a lake.
Where's that?
It's the
Yeah, where is
largest
that?
recreational lake in New England, in Maine, Greenville, Maine.
Oh.
So people will ice fish there. They do like, I think people ski on.
So we went to Sunday River a couple weeks ago. Maine is the ugliest fucking place I've ever been.
Oh my God.
It is like
America's a vacation land?
downtrodden cars, like highways full of like fucking shitty cars after shitty car on the front lawn of a dilapidated house.
It
was
rural.
the ugliest drive I've ever been on. Like we got there and I was like, I don't think I want to come back. Like the
Yeah.
drive is so ugly.
Yeah. Did you like shut your eyes for the next 3 hours when you drove home? Because
Yeah.
you were like, I didn't want to be subjected
While
to that
he was
anymore.
driving.
I took a sleeping
Yeah.
pill. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't even look.
Yeah, I don't want.
I took NyQuil.
Exactly. It felt
Yeah.
offensive.
I felt, yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
You know why I'm laughing over here?
Why?
Because that 100% is going to end up as a reel.
Oh,
Like-
100%. I mean, Maine on the coast is pretty. Like, I love Camden, Rockport.
Right. It's very
Algonquin.
South End of you.
Algonquin.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Algonquin's a little bit like where the Worcester gays go, like the Boston gays go to P-Town.
oh, sorry.
So Algonquin
Hey,
is
do you know
like-
about Key West?
I know about Key West. What about it?
I spent New Year's in Key West as an ally.
Oh. I mean, I feel like Key West is also a little like
Fun,
Worcester.
great,
Yeah.
an amazing time.
I mean, I feel like Miami's a little hotter.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Or Palm Springs.
Not yet. Not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Are we still talking about gay people?
Yeah, we're talking about the
So
gays.
Maine,
Maine.
and Airbnbs.
Yeah. Tell us more.
Yeah. Moosehead Lake.
Yeah. So
The
Moosehead
largest
Lake,
recreation area in New England.
America's
recreational lake.
vacation
Yeah.
land.
Yeah, is Maine.
Yeah. You just got to get by the broken down cars in the
You just
front
have to
lawn.
close your eyes driving
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
And then we have a Hampton beach house, which people know around here. And then we have Berkshire East, like it's not like true Berkshires, but it's like the entrance. I'd say like it's kind of the gate of Berkshire.
Oh, Berkshire East. I get it. Oh, that's
know.
funny. I like it.
So and then we're helping somebody launch one because we're just managing it in Winnipesaukee area, like the Lakes
Oh,
region.
nice. There's a lot of restrictions up there, I think.
Yeah, in this particular association there isn't. Conway there is, but like they're getting definitely more and more strict.
Anything south?
I used to, so that's how like my like Airbnb like experience kind of started, was in Naples, Florida. My family had a home.
Oh.
They still have a home there, but I don't do the Airbnb there anymore.
I like Naples. Do they rent it at all?
It's on the market
Like
right
to
now.
friends and family? Oh, it's on the market.
But we had a
Did you
great
get a referral?
one. No,
Wow.
Oh,
It's messed up.
yeah. Why
okay.
not?
because they're gonna have to earn it.
Mm,
So
Okay.
you want to give the people the incentive to be able to do a great job.
yeah. Well, Naples is hot right now.
Yeah.
It sounded like maybe it isn't. There's a lot of inventory on the market in Florida right now. It's actually kind of scary.
Yeah, like it was such a hot market for a while. And I'll tell you, our first Florida house in Naples, we got in roughly 2016. You know, it was like when we were like had like a big buying spree. So we went down there and we purchased that house, and it was for like $365 or something, like, which is so cheap for Naples. Like
Yeah.
Naples is a 7-figure community.
Yes, it is.
Bentleys everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like very poor, like, you know. So, and it was just actually a gay couple owned it, and it was just not like, it just wasn't well kept.
Oh,
Wow.
dirty gays.
You said it.
Yeah. Ugh.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
So then we sunk in like 50, 60,000.
They were probably
to
from
refresh it.
Ohio.
Columbus.
Ugh. Cincinnati.
So we came in, we cleaned it up, and then roughly like 12 months later, we were like, oh, let's sell it. Like, we're not going to use it. And, we had Airbnb'd it. We tried to sell it for $550. So this is around 18 now, right? 18, 19. We're like, okay, $550. We got like fucking offers for like $475. And we're like, we don't need to sell it. Like, we're going to keep it. Fast forward to 21.
Mm-hmm.
My mom just kind of put it on the market just to kind of like
Pop.
we're gonna ride.
$850.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
$850. She got $825.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just God blessing you.
Yeah.
I would love to say that my mom, myself, anybody.
No, that
had
area
this
blew
genius.
up during COVID.
Come on. Like that
Well,
was
everybody
just God.
left Cincinnati
Yeah.
and moved to Naples.
Yeah. And you have a lot of tax incentives in Florida.
Oh,
No
wait.
doubt.
So I'm an estate planning lawyer as well. And Florida has no estate tax, no
Right.
income tax. Like it makes sense for Northerners to.
Should we be living in Florida?
We should
Naples.
be
No.
living in Florida for 6 months in a day.
Yeah.
No
You
doubt.
need an Excel for that.
Yeah,
People
you do need an Excel. Because it makes so much sense. I'm trying to tell my parents to do it. Like, move to Florida.
Right. Or they have that also in Mississippi.
I don't know
No,
about that one.
I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah,
go
but
there.
I'm just saying
I don't,
we're
I don't
talking
even
about
want to
being
drive.
strategic.
I watched Ozark.
Oh, I
That's
don't watch that.
that's Missouri.
Same thing.
Okay. They both
They're
have
on the
they both have
Mississippi.
S's in them.
They're on the Mississippi River.
Mississippi.
That's it. It's all the same place.
Okay.
Same,
I don't know.
Same as Louisiana.
Well, that's on a bayou. That's French. So they have a different legal system.
It's French.
It is French. So, what's it called?
is that-
Louisiana.
Is that? Are you? I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Okay, we're done with Louisiana.
Are
We're
you
back
saying
to
that
Naples.
Louisiana is a French-controlled state?
No, it's Genesis.
French
Like
influence.
it's French. It was a French colony, so like
Mm-hmm.
it's actually the one state in the country that has its legal system is totally different than every other state. All the other states have like English-based legal systems, and Louisiana has a
Don't act like
French-based.
you knew this. Don't act.
No,
like you knew.
I know about the French influence because
Yeah.
New Orleans, like everything.
Right, and
It's
they
French.
have
Baton Rouge.
profiteroles,
Baton Rouge.
Red
Yeah.
stick.
Yeah.
coq au vin. You can get
Yeah.
like all the
That's
French
a,
shit.
That's a chicken
Oui.
dish
Yeah,
with red wine.
It is.
Thanks, though.
What are those?
What the fuck are we talking?
What are those?
This is your friend.
yeah.
Croquet.
No, not croquet. There's some famous food. It's like a fried thing.
Macaroons.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
No.
It's a fried dough.
Yeah, she
Hold
knows
on,
it.
hold on.
She's gonna pull it out.
Oh my God. It's just gonna come back.
Like
to
in
me.
10 minutes, you're gonna be
Croquette.
like
Beignet.
a beignet.
A
Yeah.
beignet.
Different from a bidet.
Very different. Also French,
Mm.
but for cleanliness.
Yeah.
Do you like walk into an open house and you're like, who the fuck still has one of those?
Listen,
you
it's-
know who had one of those in every bathroom?
13 Cross.
81 Savage.
81 cents. Oh, of course they did.
It's been enough time. We can talk about
Yeah,
81
they're definitely not listening to our podcast.
No way.
No way. So,
Hi guys.
East Berkshire.
Berkshire East.
Berkshire East.
So we talked about
Sorry.
Florida. So we don't have the Airbnb in the South anymore. Everything's up here.
Yeah, and we still have property in the South, but yeah, like that's not Airbnb. Everything's up here now. I am, my 23 goals are to definitely purchase at least 3. I'm already under contract for a property now, but it's not commercial. It's going to be owner occupied. But I want to buy 2 commercial properties. And I would love for the third one potentially to be some sort of compound for Airbnb. Well, we have my partner Andrew and I have kind of this concept for this basically build to suit Airbnb property. How these houses are you kind of turn it into an Airbnb, but this is a house built for Airbnb hosting.
And you would build multiple houses on this compound?
So the compound idea is separate from
Oh,
this
okay.
a larger home. Compound is kind of like what you think it is,
Yeah.
Like a campground that you would
Yeah,
convert.
exactly like the whatever that campsite is, that's like National KO or something like that. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But yes, like small little cottages around a lake or something. I
Very
would love
cute.
that.
That's cute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we brand all of ours, so.
Smart.
With Stay House.
Halls.
House.
So it's always like X House. So we have
Yeah.
like Holly House, which is in Holly, Mass. We have Haven House, that's in Chester. But like we always kind of have like a cute name.
And do you bring in designers to like zhuzh them up? Like, how do you make them rentable
Can you spell
online?
that for me?
Zhuzh?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't actually.
I think Lien's her own designer.
No. I like Andrew does a lot of the creative stuff. I basically just high level everything. I'm a little bit more operations.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like once we get a property under contract, whether that means like we get hired as the management team or like purchase the home, we then like we do a Matterport of the house.
Yeah.
And then we using that, like we're able to tour it endlessly, right? And then so we will send it to a designer, we'll give them the inspo, hey, this is what it's gonna look like, and they pick everything out, they put it into a nice spreadsheet, and we order it, and we're able to kind of execute and clean it up and get it on the market pretty quickly.
In professional photography, the whole
It's a
thing. You
must.
treat it like a
Absolutely.
listing.
Oh yeah, it's a
Yeah.
listing. It's
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's amazing how when you're going on VRBO or Airbnb and you see the pictures and you're like, it's just mind blowing that some people think that they're going to rent their houses. And
They do.
I'm sure they do.
I know.
I
Price,
mean,
price,
I
price.
used to kind of be like that. I mean, the Naples one did have professional photography, but that house was shy, like in terms of
Is
like
that-
dishware, like in terms of towels, like, I could have done much better.
I mean, Bloomingdale's has a big sale like 3 times a year. You could have gotten some good towels.
Well,
I have professional pricing on all of that stuff.
Oh, through your designer?
Well, like I'm a trade professional is what they.
okay.
I'm a professional.
just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I feel like
yeah.
I'm
It's
fucking,
called the design discount.
I feel like I'm fucking
Yeah.
up my Airbnb right now.
Why?
Why?
I don't know. Just taking it all in.
Is
over
it
here.
rented?
Fully occupied.
Then you're not fucking it up.
Why? Did you long term it?
It's been rented straight since mid-December.
Oh, to like one party that's just like snowbirding?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
We had like a 42-day stay, 2-week stay, 2-week stay,
Sweet.
1 month stay.
Nice.
It's in Florida.
Yeah, yeah.
So this
I
time
don't
of-
think you're
this-
fucking it up.
This time of year booms.
Yeah.
No, I just think there's a lot of things that we could be doing better. I'm also very nervous about the Airbnb community as a whole right now, personally. Like,
So I was telling you earlier that I'm on the government affairs committee for the North Shore Realtors Association, and there's, a massive push there to track the individual communities cracking down on Airbnb. So, like Nahant, where I live, today just released a proposed Airbnb regulation that essentially shuts down non-owner occupied, non-resident
Winthrop has.
Airbnbs.
Yeah, that's very common.
Yeah,
that's how Winthrop is right
except
now.
in Berkshire East.
Yeah, there's just not enough of the community there.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
nobody lives there.
Yeah, there's like these like small communities. I either like kind of like that, or like a community that already has those established rules.
Something that's already very vacation transient, I think, is okay in a lot of communities. The ones that are primary residence communities is where you have a lot of the pushback.
Right.
Because quite frankly, those communities like Winthrop, as an example, if Winthrop was allowing Airbnbs at an alarming rate, right now you have to be an owner occupant. You have to give them a separate, I don't think you have to give them a separate entry, but you have to give them a separate bathroom, a dedicated bedroom, and it has to be your primary residence, right?
Right.
So that pretty much gives you like this in-law capability. There's not a lot of stuff on the beach, because if Airbnb was a thing there, you would see prices on condos probably go
Through
I
the
mean,
roof.
Court Street would sell, like the entire building would sell.
Court Road. It's sold out.
Sold? The whole thing.
Whole
Okay.
thing.
But
Let's-
like, you know what I'm saying?
Let's
Have you
go.
not been on Facebook?
I know 2 units sold, like closed.
Third one closed today, man.
Oh, sweet.
Let's go.
Sweet.
I didn't change it in MLS. That's why I didn't know. It's okay.
I saw the pictures.
It's on the Soch.
I saw it on the socials.
That's what's up.
It is what's up.
That is
That was
what's
a good
up.
sellout.
It's a come up.
Yeah.
It was a come up. Winthrop's on the come up, man.
No, but I mean, like, underwriting that as an Airbnb, no brainer. I mean, that's a ridiculous Airbnb. Like a group of like people would just rent that for like a little retreat, like
Yeah.
1,000,001 uses.
And then it pushes out all the hypothetical real owner occupants. So I get it in these transient communities, but Berkshire's it's all good. Everyone's
Yeah, they're second homes typically.
yeah, right. So, no, I just feel like I'm nervous about the Airbnb community because, like, I don't know what your opinion of it is. Truthfully, I honestly think it's very easy to do. So if you have the liquidity to purchase this home and you have any sense to set it up correctly, even directionally, and shoot it professionally, and then I use Price Labs
Right.
to make sure that they check
Right.
and the next most important thing, you just respond to people.
Yeah.
Like it's not hard, man.
Yeah.
And so if I can do it very passively from 2,000 miles away,
Right.
we self-manage it.
Right.
Like, I mean, how hard can it be? And so I feel like everyone has started to do it.
Right.
And it makes me nervous for the amount of people that are going to fail, flood the market with inventory.
Right.
You know, I don't know. What's your take?
I mean, I think that is valid, like in terms of like the ease of management, as long as you obviously have your team in place, which like, you know, anybody who owns this, like, you know, so many thousand miles away, even hundreds, should have that kind of team. So I do agree. I think that some people, a regular consumer loves the idea of an Airbnb because it's like, I get to design a pretty home and I get to be a host. Like, you know, it's like investing without doing like the dirty work of landlording.
Yeah. And you end up with this hypothetical pipe dream of you have a house somewhere that you can go use.
Yeah, but you never use it. Like I
Never.
never use any of my Airbnbs because I like will just sit there and think about all the things I could have done differently to it. Like I'm like, oh fuck, like that, like spider webs right there. I really gotta vacuum that. Like I make a rule.
So your Airbnbs are dirty.
No, they're not. No, we do actually even do it. We obviously have the regular cleaning, but we actually do a deep cleaning twice a year because that's like very passionate about sanitation.
You're passionate about sanitation.
About cleanliness.
Wow.
That's why you were offended by the gays with the dirty house.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why I did them a favor by buying that house.
You gave it the love it needed and the deep clean.
Wicked.
Yeah. Wicked.
So, I think the point was that I think I agreed with what you were saying.
That your Airbnbs were dirty.
Yeah.
Are we scared of regulation?
I'm not really scared of it. Like you just have to understand like the landscape, you know.
And we're acquiring more Airbnbs.
I am. Yeah.
And are they part of your goal?
Yeah. Honestly, however I get to my 2 million.
It doesn't matter.
No. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
When you say, are you scared about regulation? I mean, kind of transparently, I am worried about regulation because truthfully, what is the legality of a municipality changing the regulation? Like, would they have to grandfather existing use?
I don't think so.
So that's
part of the petition, I'm sure, for locals.
Yeah.
They would have
From
to.
locals,
They would have to grandfather. Like so for instance, Salem, you can't get a new Airbnb, but if you're an Airbnb, you're good.
Right.
And I guess you would have to. They're going to fall off through attrition over the years, like maybe, right? Yeah. But like if they were to ever change a community, that would have some devastation on the real estate market locally.
Oh, I think so.
Hyper local, and that worries me as an investor.
Well, so the problem with regulation is that if it's not a use currently that exists, and you create a new class and ban the class, I don't think you can grandfather in from a non-existing use.
Can you say that again?
Right. So if you're using something that doesn't exist in the zoning code because the zoning code is so old, it didn't exist when they created it. Now that there's a new class, I mean, maybe it could get grandfathered in because there was just no subject for it before.
Yeah, there was no language.
Would you risk a hypothetical like class action type lawsuit? Is that even a thing?
The municipalities are immune from class action lawsuits. I mean, I guess you could say it was an illegal taking and go one by one and almost treat it as like, I don't know. I don't do enough litigation to know that one.
You know what I'm saying? Like if there's limited control of the unlimited power of hypothetically that they could have, that worries me. You know what I mean? That worries me about a market.
Libertarians are equally.
Yeah. Well, and I think you pointed out another thing that you're worried about is like a whole bunch of people getting into this business and not doing it well.
Yeah.
And I think those are the biggest risk for regulation, right? You get a whole bunch of people that don't know how to manage it. They screwed up. The town gets pissed, and they come in and over-regulate, and then you're screwed.
See, that worries me honestly less. I guess the genesis of it, you're probably right on, but like the regulating is what worries me, not the genesis of the regulation, so to speak, because when you regulate, if you don't grandfather, you risk these microbursts of local towns.
Well, and you got to remember who the people are that are doing the regulations. They're like bozos that are on volunteer committees, right? So they're like,
but something like this already happened in Boston.
People.
Like Boston, I remember
Boston at least has professionals like doing the legislation.
But like, so, you used to be able to Airbnb in like Boston, Cambridge. And I remember around like 3-4 years ago, all those units went on the market because like the landlords couldn't like make it profitable anymore. So like that kind of burst of inventory actually already existed. Like, it's all done now. But I remember that there was like for like, it was probably 18 months. Like you saw so many units.
But you can still Airbnb in the city.
Owner occupied or with a lodging license.
Yeah, so what Nahant, which I think is interesting, is that they are putting it all through a special permit process through the Zoning Board of Appeals.
That's what Winthrop's doing.
Yeah.
It sounds like an enactment, if that's a word, in Nahant is exactly what is going on.
Yeah, there must be some model code, model ordinance that the Mass Association.
They make you still go get a special permit. You have to get heard.
Yeah.
Neighbors have the opportunity to comment, etc.
And the Nahant one is like based on your experience with the town, whether you live in the town. For non-owner occupied ones, it was
yeah, it's tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems scary. But in the resort communities, like that's where they make their money, so they're never gonna limit short-term rentals because they want all the tourists they can get.
Yeah, like, talking about resort communities, like I'm really I've spent a decent amount of time in like the Hudson Valley area in New York.
Yeah, do you have any there?
Why?
Oh, that's
with a pool.
I'm like very passionately.
I want one with a pool.
And Fishkill.
Catskill.
Catskill.
I was like,
Fishkill is another town up there.
No, I didn't know about that.
Really?
One.
I used to work in the Hudson Valley.
Oh
no. Why do you say that with such?
I want to go there. That's where I want to have my summer vacation.
It's like it's.
Can't swing a cat without
amazing.
hitting a gay, right?
Well, I have no idea.
Did you say to swing a cat?
Yeah. You've never heard that term?
No. I told you I have gaydar. I am a bad gaydar. I don't know.
Hey, man, why would I pick up a cat? Like just...
I mean, people used to do that, I guess.
This is one of those times I'm going to Google the origin
swing
of
a cat? I can't wait to hear it.
This is going to be rich.
But yeah, very passionate about Hudson Valley.
Yeah. Where do you like Springs. In the Hudson Valley?
Hudson, New York.
Hudson.
My good friend has a place in, I think it's called Wyndham.
Yeah.
But basically that general area.
Yeah.
I just like find it so beautiful.
I love the country.
It's really just like very accessible. Like for me, like it's a place that I see it myself spending a lot of time in.
Yeah.
And I like that.
And there's skiing out there, right?
There's real skiing.
Berkshire East.
There's real skiing. There's hiking. There's like some fancy stuff because it's like attracts New Yorkers. So you have
lots of great museums.
Yep.
Yeah.
Antiquing.
It's
just like
Do
a
you
nice
like antiques?
Yeah.
What kind? What's your vibe on an antique?
Should I leave?
No, stay.
Yeah, you're
please.
interrupting.
You're looking up swinging the cat.
I already know what the origin.
Oh, what's the origin?
Do you think it's a cat?
I think that it's probably a. Is it a pun, like a word on, like a play on words with the Catskills?
Is it racist? Please tell me it's not.
There's the expression, first recorded in 1771.
Oh, so it's old.
Is thought to allude to the cat o' nine tails, if you know what that is. It is a water weed.
Oh.
Which is commonly referred to as a cat, aka a whip.
Oh.
With multiple lashes, widely used to punish officers in the British military. So when there's not enough, it's like a 6.5 foot tall reed that's very thick, and you could probably hit somebody with it and it would hurt. So it's meant to talk about a small room. So you used it in the proper context, to be clear, but it wasn't a literal like canine.
I would never swing a cat.
Well, that's if
by
you recall.
tail.
If we go back literally 90 seconds. That is
If
what
we
I was like, what
rewinded this.
what are you fucking talking about? Who would pick up a cat?
Right.
And the reality is it's actually it's a cat of nine tails.
So remind me the actual phrase.
You couldn't swing a cat in here without hitting
Yeah.
a blank.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
okay.
there's not enough room to swing a cat.
Yeah, yeah,
AKA a small room.
Correct.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
gonna maybe I'll use it.
Yeah.
I try to learn English every day. So.
Yeah.
Please don't
Excited about
use
it.
it.
Like I couldn't swing a cat without hitting a gay in here. Like in
In-
Club Cafe.
In the HUD.
Yeah.
Or in Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was
Yeah.
it trophy room?
Trophy room, yeah, at the trophy room.
Yeah. No more Eagle Bar.
No, well now it's like a fancy cocktail
Cartel.
lounge. Yeah.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
These are all gay bars.
Oh.
Yeah. Which there are very few left of
Boston
in
Chops.
Boston. That's a restaurant, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that bar.
I've never been to that
Good
bar.
That's supposed to be a scene.
Is
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense now, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, are you just having flashbacks? Someone invite you to Boston Chops?
No, I've been to Boston Chops.
And you're like,
a
why are
few
all these
times
men looking
with,
at me?
With a few friends of mine, and it was kind of a weird experience in hindsight.
And you're like, oh, I get
Oh.
it.
And now it's actually interesting to say that because several people who have commented about going there recently are gay.
Yeah, of course they are.
Leanne's connected into the.
I'm an ally.
Oh, she knows the gays. You can just tell. Anyone with a saddlebag.
Should I name this episode
Saddle. Get on the saddle.
Gaydar,
Back in the saddle.
saddlebags, and something else? Prop investing
In Berkshire East.
Gaydar, something, and saddlebags.
Yeah,
or
we'll,
something.
Cash flow.
we'll get there. In cash flow.
cash flow, swinging cats.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
We'll
think.
keep workshopping.
I'll have to
that
put
one.
all this
We'll
into
keep
Chat
workshopping.
Yeah,
GPT
put a
and
pin
see
on
what it
that.
spits out.
Oh, that's a good idea. Do you use Chat GPT?
I do.
Yeah. For
Like description for like real estate.
Yeah.
I should
What
actually
did I
have it
do
rewrite
it-
my Airbnb description. Now that I think
Literally.
Yeah.
That's like one of the things on my list
Yeah.
because like, you can always improve.
you should invite her down to your Airbnb to give you some
spruce it up.
some
Not enough room to
suggestions.
swing a cat in that place.
No, I've seen his listing. It
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah.
I had a
Would you
job-
rent it?
No pool?
I don't go to Florida for
Oh.
no.
You don't like Florida?
No, if I go, like I go to Miami or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like honestly, this was actually one of the reasons why I started this like Airbnb business is like I don't like other people's Airbnbs. Like you're always like inside kind of like a gross house, but there's like no housing around. So like you kind of are forced to.
Do you prefer an Airbnb to a resort?
That's
It
tough.
obviously depends on the audience, like and who I'm with.
Yeah.
But generally, if it's a house we're renting, like I want it to be like a really nice house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I would rather resort because I want concierge service. Like
Yeah.
I want like.
I think I'm
staff.
with you. Unless you're doing like an extended stay and
Yeah.
you want to feel more at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have a family, so like you want like the kitchen and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But when I vacation, I want to have like a really good time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You know,
Amenities.
what's up.
You want amenities.
amenities.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
Rein it in.
rein it in and
All
maybe
right.
wrap this puppy up here. So
Oh.
we talked a lot about investing. We talk about I loved some of the takes about the cost seg. I've been talking
Yeah.
about that a lot and haven't found a subject matter expert. So you're gonna hook me up with your
With
your girl.
Yana.
Shaw.
Yana.
I don't think that was her name. Her Nancy
Yona.
Weiss.
Yona Weiss.
Weiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. We'll do some cost segs and maybe save some cash.
And we heard about the virtues of a really good property manager to
Yeah.
run your life.
What was his name again?
Dan.
Dan.
Yeah, I listen.
La Fontaine.
Infante,
Infante,
property
yeah.
management. His last
You're
name is
butchering a
something
lot.
I've never pronounced. It's
Maybe it's Fontaine.
Chapa or something, but it's like SCHIA.
Portuguese,
PPA.
Brazilian, Portuguese.
Will you
don't
drop his contact to me so we can put it in the show notes?
Framingham
Will.
has a high population of Brazilians and Portuguese, and
That's
I think
true.
Infante
Mhm.
is like a reference to royalty in Portuguese.
Okay.
Should
Fun
I
fact.
Google it?
Yeah, look it up.
I don't know how to spell it, so I'm not going
It's with an E.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of work.
INFANTE.
Yeah,
Infante.
I'm not going to look it up.
yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I didn't know that there was such a place as Berkshire East, which is Western Mass, so it must be the eastern part. Which,
Oh, the Berkshires.
yeah,
I'm glad. I'm glad you navigated that.
Yeah, he has a law degree.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
that was probably a tough one to figure out. I'm glad you solved that.
well, I think I'm gonna go research.
Maine is also north, for the record.
I mean, I'm just not even sure I care.
I don't think you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to do.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to check out this situation at the largest recreation on Moose Lake.
That's right.
Moosehead Lake.
Moosehead Lake. Okay.
Yeah, and we call it Moose House. That house is Moose House.
HA.
That's creative.
US.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have
Why
Moose
didn't you
House.
do a Z?
Oh, because
It's offensive.
it's house, like HAUS.
House.
Z. No, like
No?
the app. No,
No.
I didn't want to
That
do
app
that.
kind of sucks.
All right.
Yeah, because then like I think there's some maybe interpretation that it's whose,
Okay.
Mm.
I got you.
but house.
Whose house is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
Anchor House, Moose House, Haven House, Holly House,
Haven House sounds
Strawman
like
House.
I
It
should.
sounds like a
feed homeless
nonprofit,
people
yeah.
there.
and then we're gonna launch Cedar House.
Oh,
That's
that's
the next house.
good.
Oh, I like that.
And where is that located?
That is in. I don't know what
You
pond
forgot?
it is. It's a small pond, but it's been in the Lakes region.
Very
Oh,
cool.
at Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of the smaller ponds around.
Will you make sure you drop us all the links so we
Yeah.
can give you some cred on the
Sure.
gram?
Yeah.
You know what I
Sure.
mean?
No problem.
You want to take this thing home, pal?
Oh, yeah. So
Take me home.
we like to ask all of our guests one question at the end. So as you know, the name of the podcast is The Word.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to look at your next 12 months
Mm-hmm.
and wrap it up into one word,
Mm-hmm.
what would that word be?
Balance.
Ooh, wow.
Ooh, what does that mean to you?
I was gonna guess it was cash flow.
I was going to say goal.
That's 2 words.
What
That's
about
not-
Dash?
you can hyphenate it?
Yeah. What does that mean to me?
Yeah.
I am forever looking for my balance and like equilibrium in life. And just right now, I'm just very intentional about it. I spent the last probably 3-4 years like being super, super, super focused on work. And like it was like probably 70-30, work personal. And I'm working on the 50-50.
It's freaking hard, isn't it?
It's
So
hard. I mean, it's impossible to have it, like a true 50-50. But whatever I can get that's the closest to that while still achieving $2 million of gross rental income would be my ideal situation.
And then does that get you to your balance when you get the 2 million?
So that's the whole thing is like, sorry that this is such a long-winded answer.
We love
No,
it.
it gives us insight, right? Like that's why we asked this question.
So, there was like a quote that I read the other day, summarizing it like, yesterday you thought today you were going to be happy and today you think tomorrow you're going to be happy, more or less, right?
That's my biggest fear in life.
And so like my level of achievement today is something I could not even dream about yesterday. Like where I sit today, the people I know, the resources I have, etc. It wasn't even in my brain, not even being able to dream it. So like, how can I achieve like satisfaction sitting here knowing that like I've done all these things, but still like yearning for more and tomorrow. So just that's part of the balance is like being appreciative of everything today and acknowledging everything that's happened.
That's awesome.
That's some deep shit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it.
I love that as well.
I've been accused of having the depth of a cookie sheet, so I like that.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
That's hard, man. I think the balance is really, really tough to figure out.
I'm nowhere near it.
I think a lot of it is driven by the gratification that comes transactionally from the work we do.
Right. Yeah. Like quick hits all the time.
More-
Adrenaline junkies.
Yeah, it's more units, another deal, another client helped, another deal saved.
Right.
A win in negotiation, and like that becomes so addictive.
Right.
It's tough to shut off.
Yeah, for sure. It is for me. Yeah.
We didn't talk anything about your real estate.
Yeah. Oh, you sell real estate?
Yeah. But I think that's like insinuated.
That was good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for fucking coming on and chatting with us. And
thank you for telling me it was the Elle Group and not the Elle team.
Well, thank you for
And I
acknowledging
liked
that.
the genesis of the Elle.
Ellie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it was great to meet you. Thank you for coming, and maybe we'll have you back.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Probably not. Though.
The best
Probably
of.
not. Oh, you definitely.
The best of
definitely.
the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That
Call
actually
it.
is a good idea.
Top 12. I'm
should-
top 12.
We should have you. Well, you are. That's
Yeah.
true. I'd even say you're top. You might be top 6.
Woo,
Top
you
50
just
percentile.
doubled. You
Yeah,
just
that's
doubled.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. It's tough to get in the top 6.
I mean,
We have
see.
so many
We'll
episodes.
see. We have so many listeners.
Do you think anyone's still listening?
I don't know. If they are,
I think we're cutting now.
Yeah,
right?
let's
thank you
fucking
for the
cut.
La
Let's
Croix.
cut.
So